Dolo Dolo, what?
Let's do it.
I seen them putting the SC project on the 660, 650E just posted.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. That's going to be exciting. We're there. I think they're supposed to come for Moto America.
Okay.
So they'll be at the party.
Gotcha.
But
650E coming?
Supposedly, we'll see.
Bring some cupcakes.
We'll see.
I gotta bring some cupcakes for them.
Right?
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up.
Well, sweet. Bro, what's up?
Man, nothing. I mean, honestly, as everybody's know, welcome to Cornerspeed 33, and this is Nick behind the scenes, the cameraman. No one ever sees him, but he's the guy that makes the beauty and make everything work, makes me look great. But as y'all can see in front of us and probably barely see us, just picked up a new bike. I know we've been MIA for a long time, but 3 kids, summertime, been really busy. Son's going to his senior year, had a couple of injuries, but preparing to make his decision on to play college football. Daughter went to nationals playing soccer, so I was in Richmond, Virginia for that. And then the youngest one, Lil Toot, y'all may see her. Got her a dog, a giant schnauzer, AKA Maximus, which was an addition to the family. So a lot's been going on over this summer, but thank God, come this Wednesday, school starts back up, so I am back to having me time.
Yeah, get you some free time, huh?
Me time, free time, that's what I need.
And you got a new bike to fill that free time, huh?
I definitely get it. Some time to basically get ready for. There's a couple of track days that are coming up, so hopefully we get some things tweaked on this bike, whatnot. But got Aprilia, got the base model. People may be wondering the fact that I've normally got the M's when it came to the BMW, the 24 and the 22, and also with the V4R, the 23. But went with the base model, and people may want to know why.
Yeah.
Because I've learned my lesson finally. My lesson has been stop starting with the top and working your way back to get back to the top.
To rebuild it.
And the reason being is, a guy my size, 6 foot, 225 pounds, trying to lose some weight, but for some reason, maybe I need to stop, doing things, eating bad or whatever it may be. But trying to lose that weight, but for some reason, I guess continue to go in the weight room and work out as if I'm still playing in the National Football League is not allowing me to do that. So the first thing I was learning is suspension.
Yeah.
And
but you say that was the first thing you learned, but you build all these bikes and then you come back and do the suspension as the last step.
That is true, because for some reason, I just, a guy, Tony, Hugo, shout out to him. He rides a 24M, should be debuting sometime in Moto America. He's always at the Ride Smart events. I think this weekend he'd be at the 316 event, but a rider that's taught me a lot, especially when it comes, and he was the guy that suggested to me of, hey, why don't you change your suspension on your BMW?
Yeah.
And, I'm frugal, but it always depends on what I'm frugal about. And so put a new suspension on the 24M. Yeah. And when I tell you it was wonders, it worked out wonders.
You immediately dropped time, didn't you?
I dropped a lot of time at COTA. I actually ended up posting my best. I believe it was one of the bikes. One was 223, one was 224. But I ended up posting my personal best on the bike. Dropped it down from, it was normally I was running about a 228. So just along with the suspension. You can also have other factors when it comes to more open track or whatnot, but it just seems like I had the pace with the suspension, so it worked out wonders. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, and that's one of those things, because as you start progressing through, you go to your first track day, it's all new, all that, but as you start picking up your pace and you start putting more energy through your suspension, it's compressing harder as you're getting on the brakes harder, you're getting into corners harder. Because I know when I had my 21, it just had the base, because I also had the base. And when I went out on my first track day, whatever, I was just kind of feeling the bike out and that. But then the next track day, I still had that base suspension in there, and I was starting to roll on the throttle, and it just kept running wide. And I was going through the S's. It just felt like I was showing my age here, but it felt like I was on a waterbed, right? Yeah. I was just like kind of all over the place, right? And so then I ended up putting a drop-in kit, and then went with a new shock in the rear, Öhlins in the rear. I went Andriani up front, and immediately had better tire wear, and I also had a lot more stability and support from that suspension system. So as I was, getting into 12, coming down from 175, 185 miles an hour, getting on those brakes, it didn't just collapse. Because that first track day on that bike, I would grab those brakes and just whoom, all the way to the bump stop.
I know
you're just
exactly
like,
what you
oh
mean.
no, rear end's coming off the ground. Yeah, it's a wild ride, but yeah, so it's definitely pays dividends if you're looking for rideability on the track and wanting to put that energy through the chassis.
And I would say, like, with people who like to ride track, I would say that might be one of the first things. I know people want to do the whole exhaust and the tune and everything else, but I would say definitely set that suspension up for yourself, and I think from that standpoint, build from there.
Yeah.
I think at this point, suspension may be number one priority when it comes to riding on the track.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, if you're just running around on the street and do the occasional track day, these suspensions are set up perfectly for that, because that softer suspension, it's going to absorb, the potholes and, all that stuff, avoiding stuff on the roadways and that kind of thing. Like, that's what this suspension is made for.
And I'll say this, if you're just regular street riding, I would say that exhaust. And the only reason why I say exhaust, and we all understand these machines, they're pretty much, they're quiet unless you really get on them. But I would say even me driving, I drive a Cybertruck and it's very quiet. But the way that I know that there's motorcycles that are coming up is listening. And I can actually hear bikes with exhaust. And as I see them, being that I do ride, I tend to get over to allow them to have more of the freeway and whatnot, so they don't have to weave them down through traffic and things of that nature.
Right.
But I will say, I literally listen for exhaust systems. That's pretty much. So I say if you're riding on the street, it's a way, in my opinion, to be heard, which allow people to be able to see you, to be aware of, okay, where is it coming from, to hear that exhaust system. In my opinion, this is my opinion, but I think it does help out wonders when it comes to street riding and being in cities and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, we sell a lot of exhaust, so I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. But I think that's a huge thing. But I mean, you started wanting an Aprilia, what, a year and a half ago?
So I actually had an Aprilia, which you understand this. You end up, gave him probably the best deal in history, which I had to, but he hooked me up. So
I replaced your bike.
You did replace it.
Yes.
So, quick story. Nick used to work for BMW. That's how we met. One night, I think it was Jacob here in Motovation, battery died. So we ended up moving batteries around, doing a bunch of different things one night at I think it was an event right before MotoGP weekend. I believe it was. It was the debut of the 2020 BMW. You actually had a bike you was riding. Long story short, we met, we spoke, we had conversations. He ended up
I drained an entire battery showing you around that motorcycle.
You did, and you ended up pushing me through the door and getting me to be the first in Austin to have a BMW. Wasn't even on the list. Got a call from Ride Now Austin, and they said, hey, apparently we have a bike for you here at Ride Now. It's yours when you're ready to come get it. And that's when I picked up my first bike. And in return, I had an Aprilia, and somebody asked me, but everything's for sale. And because everything's for sale, make me an offer that I can't resist. Nick made an offer, and we made it happen. And so I had one, but I never rode it on the track until about a year and a half ago, Racers Days. Out after MotoGP. And I actually rode a bone stock one. I think it was a 23. Rode around the track, and I was very impressed with the bike. And from that standpoint, I said, I'm going to get one. And when I went to go get one, they told me to hold up. We're going to have something new coming very soon. And lo and behold, I held up. And
granted, very soon was kind of kicked down the
very
kicked down
soon.
the
It was
road a
every
little
2
bit.
weeks. It was at
Yeah,
2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2
Inside
weeks.
joke, but
Yeah.
there was supposed to be some things that happened for me to get one, and
But we got one.
we got one. It just never happened. So thank God, shout out to F1. Somebody fell through. They had it. I just pulled the trigger and went ahead and got it. And just like, you know what? Somebody used to tell me the longer you wait, you know, you miss out on opportunities and things of that nature. So I just pulled the trigger, went ahead and picked it up, and it's here now.
Yeah.
So we got it, and very excited about this project.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good, and I think we've got some really cool stuff coming for this. But you know, you and I, you wrote it up here, and you know, I mean, there was some immediate things that you decided, because as you've progressed as a rider, you know, just, I mean, if you would have ridden that 16 out on the track, you wouldn't have known what you know now, right?
Not at all.
And so now we got this thing, and you know, we spoke. We've got a couple of ideas. But what are you thinking you want to do with this thing?
Well, I mean, you know me, I rarely ever ride on the track. So that's ride on the street. So that's number one. So definitely prepare and get it ready for the track. Number one is, of course, going to have to be suspension.
Yeah.
That's number one is suspension. Had a ride down the highway and stuff, you know, got up to around
The speed limit.
Speed limit.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hit the brakes and it was, it just didn't feel safe for me.
Yeah, not confidence inspiring.
Didn't feel safe for me. Now
Yeah.
on the street, I mean, it's more than enough, but just didn't feel safe. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to take this thing to the track. I think and I think that also goes back to to piggyback that the brakes. I think just a little more, something a little bit more.
Yeah, and I did feel this brake. It feels a little spongy right out the rip. So it might be that I'm about to put a new brake pump on mine. So I'm gonna have an open bottle of RBF. So I'm gonna try to bleed these brakes and see if we can get them just to feel better, like right off the rip. But yes, going from right now it has the Brembo semi-radial, going to a full radial is going to give you a little bit more feel on that front end.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like to two-hand brake, two-finger brake when I brake, and so you know, I was slowing down, and I just felt like I had to pull it more in, and I felt like I was hitting my right ring finger and the pinky a little bit more as I'm braking. And I'm just like, okay, you know, this is a little different, but
and then if you were to take that out on track, the brake fade.
You know, it's crazy.
2 laps in.
It was crazy because I was talking about possibly taking it out to the track this weekend just to, you know, warm it up a little bit.
Right.
And that right there alone just told me, nah, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I think those two things, suspension, brake, of course, wheels. For me, the wheels are great. They look great with the bike.
Yeah.
But, it's just when you really...
But that is one of the things that you compromise going.
That is a thing that you
factory
compromise from
to
the
base.
factory. So yes, when you look at it, and I would say this, be transparent. You look at it when you're spinning. I think this bike starts out at roughly around 19 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's right under
20.
Yeah.
So an after tax title, license, and everything that I purchased, I was a little bit over 22,000.
Yeah.
So you take that, and then you say, okay, what do you get for the factory version that gets all the different, you know, everything?
Yeah, you get the adaptive suspension, so that's a electronic suspension. You get the forged wheels. I think you get a couple of electronic features and stuff like that.
You get all the things, and then you get the graphics, and then you know, and this you got the name. I have the factory. You know, I have the top of the line.
But you also sit down and you write a check for $26,499 plus TTNL.
Exactly. So with that being said, you ask yourself, okay, if I trade in the wheels and I get the wheels that I want, compared to the wheels that it's provided with, then that's one thing. So you kind of subtract that, whatever. Yeah. And we already did that. So.
And you get to customize what you get.
Got to customize. So right now I have a set of wheels. They said 4 to 5 weeks, hopefully 4 to 5 weeks, hopefully a little earlier. But Core Moto wheels, it's crazy. I've been DMing somebody from there. Don't know exactly who. Been DMing them back when I first bought the BMW and things, and it was finally I am supporting y'all. Finally I am purchasing a set of wheels from y'all. So appreciate everything. Thank you very much. Y'all do great work. I see it all the time on a lot of different bikes, and finally I get my own set of wheels when it comes to this bike right here. So Core Motor wheels is coming. But that's the factor. So you talk about, I would say it's roughly $8,000 to $10,000 in difference in prices from the factory and from the base model.
Yeah.
But you factor that in there, and I think right now Core Moto's having a sale right now, so that worked out tremendously on subtracting that from how much it's going to cost. But that's the money that I saved that I'm actually going to get replace the wheels with. And so the thing I also like about getting your own custom wheels is a lot of these bikes, the wheels and everything doesn't change. I can change wheels from different bikes.
Yeah.
So now that I have 2 sets of wheels, hypothetically speaking, if I was to ever sell this bike, I could sell the bike without the wheels and put these wheels back on the bike, and then I still have another set for if I decide to get another Aprilia down the road. So,
or you put some rain tires on these wheels and go do some wet sessions.
And that sounds like something I will not do because I do not get paid enough as actual real racers do. So that is not in my
that's
nowhere I did enough. When I played football, I had to play in the rain, the snow, and herniated disc, torn my quad and everything. I got paid to do those things. This I don't get. This is for fun. The objective is have a great day at the track and get back home.
Yeah, we were out at Birmingham this for Moto America this last April, and let me tell you, it was juicy out there. There was, these boys and girls were wild for getting out and racing, not just riding a track day, competing, racing in these conditions.
That's called livelihood.
It was crazy.
That's not my livelihood. So that's the difference. That's their livelihood, is not mine. So they're working towards something.
Exactly.
I'm just not even working.
I'm right there with you. I'm a fair weather, like if like I'll deal with the heat, but if it's inclement weather, no thank you.
And I think we go from that standpoint. We talked about some other things. Rear sets. You look at the rear sets. They're not adjustable.
Yep. Which the factory doesn't come with adjustable rear sets either. So
but that is something. So now you subtract that if you want to go either bike. So you kind of those subtract each other.
Yes.
So now you're saying how much are you out when it comes to building this bike compared to the factory at the same time when it's preparing yourself and getting ready for the track. So that right there, you can put that in the column where either bike that I get, I'm going to maybe have to do that on either bike.
Right.
So you could take that exhaust, either bike that you get, you're going to have to do the same thing. So that's another column where you say, did I miss out on getting the factory over, not getting the factory over the base model? So I think with the exhaust system, so of course, SC, shout out to Motovation. Yeah, we're here. So of course, we're gonna put the SC project on this bike and make something happen with that.
Yeah.
Tune, definitely gotta get a tune.
Yeah. And that's another thing with this new bike, we've got, this is like a whole new regime. Like they're doing EU5 Plus. So with the 26, we're finding that a lot of the exhaust systems are backwards compatible. So a lot of the exhaust systems that fit the previous gen are working on this bike. But if you'll notice, there's a cat in the mid pipe now, and so all of the slip-ons are going on past, like after that cat. But that being said, there's a lot of new tuning that is going to have to be done with this 26. And so I know that we've got Gabbro in Europe, that tuning shop they're world renowned for Aprilia. Like around the world, people go with Gabbro, generally with the Gabbro up map. AF1 might be working on something as well here locally. And then I know that we've got Brentune.
Yep, we were just looking at that right now. He's working on, he just got put a full exhaust on his factory. So he's working on one too. So, I mean, I have Brentunes on both my BMWs and he does a fantastic job. I know people have, and again, I'm not a person that bashes anything or whatever, who does what, whatever. So again, for me, and what I personally feel safe with and something that I've never had an issue with is going to be that, Brentune is both my bikes, the 22, the 24, even my old 2020 BMW that I had. I've used Brentune Stage 2 and it's worked wonders. And I have no complaints when it comes to it. So to me, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. And right now, just things when it comes to the BMWs and when it comes to what tune I use, of course, I use the Brentune. My Ducati, my V4R, of course, You know, you put the Acro system in everything with Ducati Austin and how they do things, and they do their up maps and things when it comes to working with Ducati and working with the Acro system. So that's kind of like a, you know.
Yeah, and that's kind of a custom map
That's like
that
a
Josh
custom
is
thing.
working
That's a
on.
thing that's like, here you go. That's that. So again, when it comes to picking a tune or whatever, I think, you know, everybody's opinions is different.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go off with the fact of, you know, I sitting in the bed before I go to sleep, I'm just looking at things. You know this. I see stuff on Instagram,
Yep.
like things I see all day and get piggyback. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So
And
tune-
to
what?
piggyback on that real quick, all tunes are not equal because it depends on, and especially where we're at now with the ride-by-wire and how good these motorcycles are, but also how electronically controlled they are. There is a lot of it that goes to what are you going to do with this motorcycle. So, you know, there's, because rideability and horsepower are sometimes disconnected.
Correct.
Because if you're one of those guys who's going to take it out to the Texas Mile and just more horsepower the better, that's not going to serve you as well as something that is designed to be on a road circuit like Circuit of the Americas.
Correct.
I mean, you watch MotoGP and shoot, even in Moto America, you got these guys that are talking about tuning these bikes turn by turn, which I think is something crazy that Aprilia is doing now.
Correct.
But
Yep.
But that being said, like if you just go and you're just shooting for that high horsepower number, that might not serve you if you're riding a tight track, because you talk about, you know, looking at these MotoGP riders and they have their data engineer and they get back to the box and they're talking about turn 3, it was, you know, they make all these movements and all that stuff. That data engineer is then adjusting the tune to bring some horsepower down, maybe fill in some gaps, that kind of thing. So, you know, it's definitely something that you need to consider based on what you're going to do with the bike.
Correct. Very correct. Very correct.
So, yeah, so I think, you know, we've got some really good options with that. And then obviously with the intake or with the exhaust, you want to handle the intake as well.
Correct.
So, you know, a sprint filter.
Sprint filter, yes. I mean, that's just kind of like all the things that go along.
Yeah.
But then I think another thing is the tail tidy, the brake light and everything is kind of like what we ended up when it came to the BMW. That where the tail light, the blinkers and everything is all integrated and things. So, you know, that's one of the things if I decide to take it on the street, you know, hopefully there's something out there soon that's for that. But, you know, from what I'm going to be doing with it, you know, you just put a block off right there and we call it a day. So
yeah. And that is one of the kind of challenges that when you get a brand new motorcycle, you're kind of waiting for the aftermarket to fill in those gaps. So, you know, we might be waiting on a couple of these pieces, but, you know, I think ultimately, you know, you're starting off with a great base.
Correct.
And then some of the things that we've talked about, you know, and if I'm able to bleed that brake, if I can bleed that brake out and get some of that sponginess out of the lever, I think just going to a more aggressive pad is going to do wonders for that braking performance.
And I think really at the end of the day, I think it's something that we tend to do a lot of is take it to the track.
Exactly.
And what we're going to be doing right now is, and being that we're going to be waiting for a lot of parts and pieces and things when it comes to this bike, there's going to be opportunities for me to take it to the track to figure that out. So whether there is an exhaust, whether there's not an exhaust, whether there's a tune, whether there's not a tune or whatever, at the end of the day, if I could say, hey, I can get a suspension on there, just a suspension, then it's like, hey, listen, put the suspension on it, whether it's some more aggressive, some better brake pads or whatever, put some block offs on it and then just take it to the track and let's just see how it does, see how it handles, see what you like, see what you don't like, and you go from there.
Exactly.
And I think that's that's the greatest thing about this, in my opinion, is just building something and working on something to get better at and make it fun. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to this. I think I did it both with the 2Ms and with the V4R. It was all the same thing, getting adjusted and working on those and just trying to make it best for myself and have the most fun when it comes to ride on the track. Yeah,
exactly. And when you customize it to you, you know, because I'm fortunate kind of in the fact that, you know, these bikes kind of come from the factory built for my height, or not height, but weight and that kind of thing. But you're a
bro.
I
thought
am I a former NFL player?
Maybe he might be a kicker.
Ma-
Okay, I'm sorry.
There you go, kicker.
What's wrong with that? That's NFL.
I'm not saying anything,
Okay.
but what is the one rule about kickers? Can you touch them?
If they hold on to the ball a little too long, you can't.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But yeah. So that being said, just getting some stiffer springs in there, getting you a little bit more support. That rear suspension, that kind of thing. I mean, all of that is gonna add up, and you don't have to do all these things, but as you start progressing, all these things become apparent that it's like, yeah, maybe I do need some of this stuff.
Correct.
So yeah, I think this is going to be a really good platform. And the beauty is, like, you rolled it in the other day, and because I have that 22 and I have a lot of carbon pieces and stuff like that, I was actually just test fitting a few things, and there's a lot of carryover as far as carbon, so body panels, between the previous generation and this generation. Obviously, they changed the tail. They changed the tank, and they changed the upper front fairing, but like the side panels, the rear mud guard, the front mud guard, that kind of stuff, like a lot of that stuff is carrying over. So we might find some stuff that is gonna carry over. I did some measuring. The rear sets might carry over, which, speaking of, depending on which ones we go with, are you gonna wanna do standard shift or GP shift?
Oh, I'm standard.
You're standard?
I'm standard.
Okay.
For some reason, guys, and I know I've seen videos and stuff
Yeah.
about the GP shift, whatever. I honestly, I think it would be, if I rode a lot of street and I did a lot of GP shift on the street, I think it would help with the fact that when you go to the track,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that. But
Yeah.
also you got to think, in my opinion, some people can do it, some people can't, whatever. But I think in my opinion, going to the track,
Yeah.
the safety of others,
Sure.
I just don't want to be on the track. And
Preoccupied.
yes, I don't want to be thinking,
Yeah.
I don't, you got to be clear-headed, focused and everything on the track. I just don't want to be on the track and I'm over here trying to read. And people always say, oh, it's easy once you get to it. But I
Yeah.
know a lot of people at the same time
Well-
ride, they do it on the street and they do it on the track. And
Yeah.
when you're telling me that I only get on the bike maybe between 8 to 15 times a year.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
And
But
it's-
you're out there and you're pushing your limits each
Correct.
time.
So if I'm
Yeah.
only out there from 8 to 15 times
Yeah.
a year, it literally, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
me telling you it's like me playing, when I'm just theoretically, when I play
Yeah.
football, when you backpedal every day in practice,
It's
and you say
second
go
nature.
to the game,
Yeah.
it's second nature.
Yeah.
So now you're talking at 40 years old, even
Yeah.
training with my son, hey son, you need to backpedal, use your arms, do this, you're driving. Like, it's second nature because I did it for so long.
Right. Yeah, you got those reps
But
in.
if you're telling me, hey, try GP shift, go on the track.
Yeah, and I will say, because I not recently, a couple of years ago, but I still remember the first time that I ended up accidentally on a GP shift bike, and I was at Double R Fest. It was VIR. We were doing the small track, a track that I had never been to. So I don't know the layout. I don't know anything. And I jump on this bike, and with the BMWs, it's really easy because you just move the shift actuator to a different position on the bike. And I just jumped on the bike because I didn't even think about it. And it was a demo, whatever. Jumped on that bike and got into pit out, all that, went to upshift, and I wouldn't go because I was in first. And so I just keep trying to push it into first. I was like, oh no, and then I spent the rest of that session being towed around by one of the Double R Fest I don't know if he's a coach or what his thing is. Yeah, instructor, whatever. And and at that point, like, I was also like a decent rider, but I was so preoccupied because I couldn't remember or figure out what gear I needed to be in. And so I'm like getting on the brakes and I'm trying to downshift, but going down, and I was all over the shop.
One time they did that, funny story, they did that to one of my bikes one time. And I remember going up the hill, and then I like tried to click, going back down, turn one, and I kept trying to click up, and I'm just in one, and it's just screaming, and I'm like, what the? And then I finally clicked down, and then it's like, okay, so the whole time going around the entire track, I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
I'm like, and then on the
Yeah.
back straight, it's like, all right, cool, this is easy. Click, 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 click. And then when I'm like,
But that,
I'm shifting back up, I'm like, click, oh, click. Damn, what gear am I in now?
yeah.
Like,
No, and 12 comes up quick.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what gear am I in now?
Yeah.
And then you go around, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna stay in third all the way around
Yeah.
until and it's gonna pit out, and then like just park it and like, hey,
Yeah.
switch it back.
Yeah.
But
That
yeah,
being said, I did end up making the switch, and it's better.
I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah, at the end of the day, it comes down to a matter of preference. I
Definitely.
mean, that's the thing. Like I said, my first time I didn't. It was a mess because I was, like I said, I was preoccupied the entire time. So I wasn't thinking about where I was going. I wasn't thinking about. All I was focused on was what gear am I in and survival, and that is not a place to be when you're out on track.
no question. And
Yeah.
again, like I said, if I rode enough on the street, maybe. But
Sure.
the fact that you said you switched over, I guess I'll try it.
Yeah.
But maybe in a safer environment. I just got to figure out when,
Yeah.
how, when, where.
Yeah, and I will say, like, it definitely took me a couple of sessions, but I think if you gave it like a full day, I think by the end of the day you would at least have the fundamentals. You might switch back because you know there's a world. I mean, you've gotten this far running standard shift.
I remember there was one time I got far, I didn't even know what, I used to hit the clutch on every turn.
Oh man, when you told us that, bro,
it was-
like you're just like coasting into 12.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
used to hit people don't understand. I used to, I thought, you grab the clutch and hit every gear. So I used to literally grab the clutch for every gear. And everyone's like, you got auto blip, like you can go up and down.
Yeah,
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
No one told me. Keep in mind, I've been riding, I played football. I didn't start riding till 2018, 19-ish.
yeah,
So yeah, when I was riding, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I started riding, literally. Couldn't get out of first gear on a Grom.
Right.
When I was in riding school. So that kind of tells you the experience and how far I've come
right.
when it comes to, right now, by no means I feel like I'm an expert or nothing.
Oh,
but
no.
I'm just saying
But that's the
how
beauty.
far as I've come. Oh
Yeah,
man.
but
can't go wrong with
that's the beauty of this, and I think that's part of the reason that you've been able to accelerate is like it is constant like search for I don't want to use the word perfection, but like it's constant betterment. Like
Definitely.
it's constant drilling. I mean, coming from the league, like you guys would be out in practice, and what would you do?
We do it repetitive. Do the same thing,
over and over.
and then you rewatch it, and then you try to perfect it, and you try to get to where now it's how many tools you have in your toolbox, and when you go in the game and you're presented in a situation,
Yeah,
which tool do you got? Which tool do you use, and you use that tool. And if that tool doesn't work, you use the next tool. So it's literally what I've noticed on just riding is. All right, body position. Okay, you can't make that turn. You blew it wide. Why was that? Now you go back and say, okay, where do I need to brake earlier?
Yeah.
Do I need to brake later? Like, what do
Yeah.
I need to do? So each and every time, each and every session, each and every just the art in the sport of riding is just a competitiveness within itself.
yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're kind of going against the clock unless you're actively in a race. But the track has this beauty of minimizing the variables, because you run out here on the street, you don't know the condition of the road, you don't know sometimes where the road goes, like it might go left, it might be a decreasing radius, anything like that. There might be somebody that's tooling around on a bicycle, there might be any number of variables. And so whenever you're able to minimize all those variables, you're really able to just focus in and just hit your marks.
Definitely.
Lap after lap after lap. And, I mean, there's been countless times when I've been working on just a section of the track. And that's what the beauty of COTA is. I mean, it's
So
almost
big, yes.
It's big. It's almost 4 miles. So getting those reps and like, okay, I'll be back here in 2.5 minutes, basically. And then you can try it again.
Definitely.
And kind of like golf, you hit that one and it hits that sweet spot, it goes straight, and you're like, oh, that
And
was
then you ask this
it.
question, can I do it again?
Exactly.
And then you're ready to break your clubs.
yeah. So, so like I said, it looks like we've got we've got a really good list of things that we got going on here. Really stoked on the exhaust, getting the suspension addressed, that kind of thing. I'll get with Josh and we can kind of discuss what we're talking about with that, because Josh is your go-to guy whenever it comes to dialing in.
Definitely.
You put it together and then there's the layer of getting it dialed in, getting your suspension set up and all that stuff. So we'll get with him on that. We've got a lot of these things here at Motovation. So we'll get what we can do on the bike and get it working. And we're going to do some videos. We're going to do some videos with this bike and how we're getting all this stuff addressed and handled. So we might even talk about rear sets, since I've got my 21 with the GP shift. Right now, this one's set at standard shift, so I might go through, and just kind of talk about the differences between how that works, especially with the Aprilia, because Aprilia doesn't have the easy changeover like the BMWs, so you have to change the actual rear set. So we've got some of that stuff coming in the pipeline. So please like, follow, subscribe, all of that stuff, because that actually helps us continue to make videos like this and give you guys something to watch while you're watching or eating dinner or whatever. So
definitely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the coffin. A lot of things, and again, a lot of the projects that we've done in the past, we dealt with a lot of different, whether it's manufacturers or whether it's different brands of different things. Again, shout out Motovation. I mean, they do a tremendous job and I can't thank them enough. But again, Core Moto, we just ordered a set of wheels from y'all, and again, appreciate y'all and what y'all doing and trying to get that turnaround for us. But when it comes to Brentune, again, shout out to y'all also. I highly recommend when it comes to a tune and it comes to the BMW. 3 BMWs I've had no issues whatsoever. And even when we did have any questions, they responded back so quickly.
Yeah, and you ride the crap out of those BMWs.
Yes, so again, when you talk about, people like, when you hear things or whatever, I will say for me personally, and again, this is all personal experience and what I've dealt with and things in that nature. And so stay tuned. I know we've been gone. Again, thank you, Nick, for everything you do, the man behind the camera, to make everything great. When you talk about the MotoGP event here in Austin, 2 years in a row, the things we got to do.
Yep.
But he's the guy that makes everything great, but he's going to do a lot of things with the bike. And again, shout out to everybody. And like you said, if there's any questions or the same way that everybody's going through this right now, there's a lot of guys that got this bike and everybody's waiting for parts and trying to figure this all out of how to make everything work. If there's something that y'all ask, any questions or whatever, shoot us a DM, shoot us a comment, whatever it may be. If there's something else that you want to know or anything else you want to see, and there's something in our power, we're more than willing to do it, shoot it wherever we got to do. I apologize, I've been gone to kids, but again, 3 days from now, today is Friday, but next week they're in school, so I'm going to have a lot more time, a lot more free time to do some things, and I'm very excited about this bike and getting it out on the track and just see what I can do with it. So hopefully we can have that comparison on 3 different bikes on one day on the track, and same track, everything pretty much similar when you come to suspension, exhaust, tune, whatever. We could just talk about all those different things when it comes to the same track and have some type of comparison. Maybe even have Nick ride some of them. We just compare what he thinks, what I think, and then have 2 different minds to think about the same bike or whatnot. So thank y'all very much. Stay tuned, and we're excited. And MotoGP is next week, and we have somebody in this building that might end up winning it, but he will not get the prize.
Yeah.
We will not allow that to happen. So with that being said, keep fighting. I'm in mid-pack. I'm having that Jorge Martin type of season where came in as a champion last year, but this year is just not going as planned. But
fortunately, you've had fewer injuries, right?
1 week I had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And my whole roster went down. But the good thing is we're back from summer break, and y'all stay tuned, and thank y'all very much.
Thanks, y'all.